However, I'm going to show you guys the setup, how simple it is to actually find setups in the market, right? So you can actually look at it from a perspective of you can see why certain trades are being called out. All right. So I'm going to show you a previous setup that I had done last week. And this is my analysis for gold. As you guys know, I trade gold majority of the time, okay, because it's just what I like. I like taking risks when it comes to that. Not in like a gambling way, but I enjoy making money. Making money is an art form, right? Same way that learning how to swim is an art form, learning how to drive is an art form, learning how to sing is an art form, right? We saw Beyonce pack out these arenas day by week after week after week. Why? It's an art form, right? So looking for setups is an art form, but I just like gold. The way it moves is fluid. It takes a little bit more capital to make this serious money here, but I'm going to show you guys a setup that on gold. Let me actually just delete this and undo it again. No, not that one. Cool. Perfect. I'm going to show you guys the setup, and then I'm going to work, and I'm going to go backwards and show you guys how I find myself. So first and foremost, you want to make sure you have TradingView. Okay. If you have TradingView, put a one in the chat if you have access to the app called TradingView. There's an application called TradingView. It's also a website called TradingView. Okay. Let me know in the chat okay. Put a one in the chat if you have it, and put a two in the chat if you don't have it. All right. Everyone should have TradingView. This is what you're going to be using, and I would recommend to get the paid version. Okay. Because you got to take this seriously. This is a business. This industry is one of the most lucrative ways to make money, if not the most lucrative way to make money online today. Better than drop shipping, better than even long-term investments. It is, you can literally get in and get out of the bag in 2, 3, 4 minutes, 2, 3, 4 hours, and change your entire life. Okay? So take this seriously. Like, it's £13 a month, right? It's nothing. No? You want to get the paid version of TradingView, so you can actually have multiple indicators. As you can see, I don't use a lot of indicators. I don't use all this other stuff. There's different types of traders, but if you look at some of the best traders out there, they don't use a whole lot of indicators. This is called naked chart trading, okay? Because we're looking at the actual charts. We're not looking at just candlesticks, okay? So let me know if you guys are ready. I'm going to get into it. So first and foremost, guys, let me know if you guys are ready. Have your notepads ready. And if you have another screen, I would suggest to get your TradingView up, or if you have another device, have your TradingView up so I can actually walk you through how to find perfect setups every single time. All right. I'm looking at gold for the week. Again, I'm not a prophet. Okay. So if it doesn't go the way that I'm saying it's going to go, don't hang me out to dry. Okay. This is just, this is just a prediction. Looking at the markets by what I've been using for the past couple of years here. That looks good to me. All right, perfect. So this is the XAUUSD, okay? And this zone here is where all the magic happens. I want you guys to put golden zone in the chat. Because I was talking to my friend Justin, $25 million guy. And this is what struck this call, because he was like, man, you should show like what's going to happen with Bitcoin, because of course, some people don't know how to analyze these charts, and it's not that difficult. It's just knowing what to do. So I thought, you know what, let me actually share this strategy with you guys. And this could be something, this could be a blueprint that you could actually use on your journey. All right. So this I'm gonna break down for you guys again. I want you to just look at this chart for a moment here. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's already done. Perfect. Okay, great. No, I don't want that. All right, perfect. So what I've put here is basically called a Fibonacci retracement tool. Fibonacci retracement is a fancy word for a measuring tool. And I'm going to show you guys in the coming weeks how to set up your fibs to basically measure the market in a certain way, where whenever there's movement in this zone, the market's going to bounce straight up or straight down. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys, if you guys don't believe me, let me show you, let me go back and show you some of the previous movements here. The market went into this zone, boom, went up. This zone is where, or it's also known as a major reversal area. Okay? If I go back, I can go back. This is where a lot of movement takes place. Big moves happen in this yellow zone. Let me know in the chat if you can see that. Okay? So this zone has been active since the 8th of April. Can you guys see this? So this zone right here, the yellow zone, I mean, there's other zones as well, but this is, and I want to explain to you why I picked this particular zone. Okay? So the market moves in waves. Okay? I don't look at candlesticks I don't zoom in and look at all it, because you got to look further out and get an outside scope of what's really happening in the markets. So when you go on TradingView, and again, some of you're still new, I understand. So I'm not expecting for you to be doing this. Like we have an incredible platform here, guys, with Iconic, the education, the Solix application. I want you to make that your primary way of actually getting through this information, because I learned everything that I've learned today from being a part of such communities, right? Where I have access to educators and traders. And this is this is part of the package, but this is also what they teach on the live sessions. Okay, so it's very important to understand that this is an extension of the signals of the software, but it's also important to know yourself and just be able to judge movement so you can see potentially what could happen in the markets. So my prediction for gold this week is it will drop, because there's a trend that's been formed. The trend is your friend. You never want to go against the trend. Okay, if the trend has started, right, until there's, and I'll show you guys what you look for a reversal. Okay, but I believe this will continue to go down for a period of time. I believe when it hits, and the reason why I say it's going to go up is because look, the market has been trending since the beginning of May. So the market's been trending up. The actual overall trend is up. Can you guys see that? This is a wave. It's going down, but look at the previous waves. Look, it came down around this zone, bounced back up. Came down to this zone again, bounced back up. What do you think it's going to do now? The only way it's going to go down is if it tests this zone here. This zone right here, okay? Because look, the market is going up, boom, 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 up. Now, and you got to train it, and this is something that you'll learn over time. But you have to train your eyes. Okay. You have to train your eyes, right? Whole lot of background noise. Right, so you have to train your eyes to look at the market, not from a candlestick perspective, but from a trend perspective. Okay? That's how we do it. Now look at this. This is actually called a trend line. If I draw this trend line, and I actually go to the wicks. Now, when you're actually drawing trend lines, again, for a lot of you that are new, I know it's overwhelming. Don't worry. Don't try and, I'm just giving you guys you're not supposed to understand everything right away. It took me a while to get this stuff, but I'm just showing you the behavior of the market. Does that make sense? So don't try and be like, oh, Derek is confusing. It might be confusing to you now, but don't worry. It's you're gonna get it eventually. Okay? Don't panic. All right, don't panic. So let's just say this, right? So I can do this. I mean, the lowest wick was here, but guys, if you look at this carefully, this market price right now is pretty much on the edge of this trend. Like, it's gone past. It's really broken through. It's broken the structure. Okay, I'll get to that later on. Okay, let me just go back to what I was saying. So the market moves in waves. This is a current uptrend. If I really want to be bougie, what I can do, right, is I can go and I can draw a nice channel right there. Boom. Right? Boom. And then what you even do is you just copy this. So you just press copy, paste. And now, look at that. Can you guys see that? That is literally a trend. Let me know in the chat if you guys can see it. Keep the communication going. Let me see if you guys, can you guys see that? So what does this mean? It means that I believe the market will keep on trending upwards. Okay? I believe gold will shoot to the upside and it will do some serious damage. Now, of course, within this trend, there's a lot of candlesticks. Now, you see all these candlesticks go up and down. But if you look at the actual trend, you guys are, oh, man, Derek, I placed a trade and, oh, it's going up. No, don't worry about it. Don't panic. Look at the trend. Like, you've got to think of it long term. Yes, I know we scalp. I scalp too. But at the same time, look at this, right? It goes down. And my prediction, as I said, it's going to go up. Now I'm going to show you why. Let me go into a blank chart. Because I know some of you are like, what is he talking about? Don't worry. I understand. I said the same thing before myself, right? So let me go to a fresh chart. All right, perfect. This is a fresh chart, baby chart, right? Fresh. Fantastic. Okay, great. This is an easy one. I mean, this is not even hard, is it? But you can see the trend already. Okay. Let me find one that's a little bit more, because that's really easy. Let's look at this. Let's look at the US 30. Let's see. What is going to be Bitcoin? Let's see. So I had an analysis for GJ. This is my analysis for GBP USD. Similar thing. I'm going to put out a fresh chart. Let me see if I can find something that I can show you guys. Okay. Euro GBP. Yes, let's do this. Euro GBP Vantage. Let's see if I can find this one. GBP Vantage. Euro versus Great British Pound. Perfect. All right, so yeah, let's see. Okay, cool. It's not really big trend. Okay. See if I can find something that's gonna be. Looking for something that has not a clear. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, so this is Bitcoin. So this is basically the 1 hour chart. And this is literally, I've already established the low and the high. So if you guys can see here, I've already established, can you all see this? I've established the low and the high. Okay. So first thing you want to do when you go into a fresh chart, or even just how people analyze, right? We look at the floor and the ceiling. When it comes to trading, this is one of the fundamental basics. There's something called support and there's something called resistance. Support is your floor and resistance is the ceiling. So if I have a bouncy ball and I'm bouncing it off the floor, it's going to go onto the ceiling, correct? And then come back down to the floor. So in Forex, crypto, whatever, right? You have new levels of support and new levels of resistance. So at this level of support now was once the level of resistance for Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin moves wild, man. It's had a massive increase. It's still trending up. I believe it's still in the bull market. I believe it's going to be going up to around $115,000 to $119,000. I mean, again, that's that. We don't know what time frame. I mean, looking at maybe 90 days, 6 months. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two that I believe will rise. And that's been confirmed by a lot of people that I know. So I believe that's the case. And let's look at Bitcoin. So we've established the high point here and the low point. So you put a circle there, right? Perfect. Everyone can see this? The candlesticks are moving up and down. A lot of people, they focus on the candlestick. Even for me, when I first started, I used to zoom in so close, like this. Unless you're scalping. But, I'm more looking at longer moves to catch some, 75 to 150 pips, right? So let's see here. This is, sheesh. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Cool. All right. Looking at something right here. All right, perfect. So now we've established the high and the low. Okay, I'm just going through it slow so you guys can understand it. Okay, your goal as a trader is to identify when to buy and when to sell. Now, of course, you sell at the higher points and you buy at the lower points, right? You buy low and you sell high. We are familiar with that. Okay. Now, I'm gonna now look at some trends. You can draw, like, I don't like to draw too many lines on the chart. Like, every trade is different, but I like to keep it simple. Okay, but this is another level of resistance of support. Okay, of course it's like a secondary level of support. This level has been reached, but typically this is an area that is very respected in this specific situation. So I'm going to put this as green, Jamaica green. Okay, all right. And I'm gonna put this the same, right? So let's just say we've got this set up. Okay, perfect. No worries. We now know where the market is respecting. If the market hits this level of 110,716, it has a historical process of rejecting that line, rejecting that area. This could be because of many things. Sometimes it's manipulation of the market. Sometimes it's assets that are being pulled out of the market. There's different reasons why. Okay, there are several different reasons why. Okay, but now we're going to go to the next level, and I'm going to now identify. So first of all, you have to establish what direction the market's going in. Okay, this is in a way like a sideways market. To be honest, there isn't much indication. Look at this movement right here is a sideways movement. It's been a trend up here, trend down, trend up there. It's not really clear. Okay. But that's why we have the Fibonacci to actually show us where we believe the market can reach, right? Yeah, it's definitely, there's 3 different types of movement in the markets, right? You've got upward movement, downward movement, and sideward movement. Consolidation, right? I would say it's trending up. I mean, even since April, 2 months ago. It's been trending upwards. I would, I'm gonna go for a buy opportunity. So let's just say we're gonna do this. We're gonna go and get our Fibonacci right. So this is now a tool that we use to basically analyze the markets. Before I do that, let me just show you again. You have to train your eyes to look at certain movements. So what you could say is like, okay, great. You could say the market is doing this, and if you really look at it, what happens in the market before typically happens again. The history, when it comes to trading, history does repeat itself. Let's just say we're looking for a buy. Now I'm not really the expert on Bitcoin, I'm more of a gold guy. But let's just say, and I will go into gold in a moment actually. Could it be that? Could it be that? I don't know. That's why you play around with the charts. You look at what could happen. Okay? You look at what could happen. That could be a move. I don't see it going down anytime soon right now because it's respected this zone for quite a while and it's looking quite bullish. Of course, this lower low was created. So in trading you've got highs and lows, then you've got higher highs, lower lows, and higher lows, right? So there's different types of there's peaks and valleys. This will be considered a M pattern, which always indicates a drop. See that? It's got an M there. Let me just draw this out for you guys. See that? That M is showing you a drop. Okay. Now I'm just looking at it from a buyer perspective. So first thing you have to do is you have to establish where. Now I'm establishing for myself where I believe Bitcoin's going to go. Let me keep that. You actually keep that going. Okay. So we're going to draw Fibonacci. Now this is the magic tool. This is really what brings it all together. Okay. This is called a Fibonacci retracement tool. So because I believe it's going to be a buy, I'm going to do it from the low to the high. Okay. You guys see this? It's called a Fibonacci retracement tool. So this Fibonacci thing, what it does is it basically shows you, it measures the market, and basically the market, there's something called the golden ratio. And again, I'm not going to go into this. This is a whole other conversation. The golden ratio is basically how the world is perfectly created. God made the world perfectly. Why? Because the world is balanced. We have one arm on one side, one arm on the other side. We have, you look at fruits. The fruit it's nature. Like look, everything grows in a certain time of the year, and so on and so forth. Right? The world is a perfect universe. It's even a round Earth. The Earth is not square; it's round. So there's something called the golden ratio, and the Fibonacci. If you research it, it's actually a Japanese concept where they look at previous trends of the market, and there's certain numbers that just indicate more than others where the market's going to go. So it's basically like a measuring tool for the market. It's like, imagine if you're putting up a wardrobe or you're putting up a shelf. You have a spirit level, right? A level thing with the water. And then wherever that little piece of water, like it shows you if it's straight or not. This is basically what it is. It's a tool that you use to measure the markets. Okay? And we've been using this for years, and it has been incredible. I think now's the time to pull out this strategy because it is something that people can read. It's not. It might seem like gibberish at the very beginning, but believe me when I tell you, it's a very good way to analyze things. So look, we're gonna look at this. We're gonna go on rectangle, and now the zone that I'm looking for is anything between 618, 0.618, and 0.886. So I'm gonna draw this line right here. Look at that. Tell me what you see, guys. Tell me in the chat what you see. Do you see an area where there's a lot of movement? It's called the golden zone. So whenever the market hits this zone, it typically makes a big move. Okay? So my prediction for Bitcoin is going to be a buy. I'm gonna place a couple of orders on Bitcoin, but I'm focusing more on gold this week. But um, just a little run through it. I believe it will rise ever so slightly, but it's already hit the zone now. This is a zone where when it hits this level right here, and it drops down, for example, right? If it goes past this zone right here, so guys, look, the market works in waves. Let me explain this. Let me just do a little drawing for you. So let's just say, let me just cancel that. So this is the market, right? It's going forward, zigzags. Okay, this is how the market looks. Yeah, this is the wave. These little things bug me sometimes. I have to get rid of all of it. All right, so this is the wave, right? So what will happen is there's a low here and there's a high. Okay, this is the low, this is the high. The market hits the high, comes down, retests in this zone. This zone is the golden zone. It goes up, okay, comes down, retests this zone. They say when it retests the zone 3 times, it's a trend. 1, 2, 3. It's hit this particular zone. Now I believe it can shift up to the upside. I'm looking at here. I mean, again, if it does go up, I believe it will. I believe it will. I believe it will buy more than sell right now. And that rise will be through here, right? And that's because whenever it hits this zone, it has to retest this area. It's an area of comfortability. It's an area where you're comfortable. Why? Because it's an area where a lot of movement happens every single day in the markets. Okay? This is where a majority of the movement takes place. As you can see, right? Look at this. Movement there. Yeah, the charts on TradingView, yeah. There's a lot of movement here. The market is very active in this zone. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for movements in this zone, and that's where I place my orders. Okay? Let me know in the chat box put a 7 in the chat if you get a little bit of it, right? Let me know in the chat if you get a little bit of it, or if you get some of it, or if you don't get any of it, just let me know in the chat. All we're looking for is waves. We're looking for the market moves in waves. You gotta be patient with the market. That's why you gotta use the right lot size. Okay? And again, this is just the first call I'm doing about this particular way of trading, so you don't have to worry about getting all of it right now. But this is my gold example, right? This is my baby. Now I understand gold's movement more than others because gold is my baby, right? Now, as you can see, this is an easier example because Bitcoin is kind of consolidating. But look at this. This is a clear trend, right? And now we can identify Write this down in your notes. Lower lows, right? So this right here, let me see, let me just go, let's do this. Okay, cool. So this, let's just say this would be considered, okay, a low, right? You can call it a lower low, okay? That's a lower low. Then, no, my bad, lower high. I'm looking at the downward trend. This is a lower high, right? So as the market moves up, there's a lower high and then a higher low. Okay? No, this is a higher high. So it depends on how you see it because I always get confused with the terminology, but you have a lower high, high, and this could be a high, this could be a higher high. But basically, there is a lower version of the high. So this is a lower high, this is a higher high, right? Or you could do high, lower high, higher high, right? Regardless of it, it's the same thing, right? So what I'm just training. You have to train your eyes to look at it. So look, this is another one, right? Let's look at this here. This, so boom, boom, and then boom. You guys see that? Then boom. So it's in waves, okay? It's in waves. So let's say it comes up here, boom, 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 and then it goes up to the higher high, and then comes down again here. So let's just draw it out as it would play out. It's going to be like this. Boom, 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 and you can go boom, right? You can go up there, boom, boom. So this is all a trend, okay? This is all a movement. Hundreds of pips would have been caught here with the right strategy, okay? That's an example on how to identify the trends. Because you're looking at it from a long-term perspective. You're minimizing your screen and you're deciding to move it, look at the market in waves. So this is clearly an uptrend. And I know this is going to retest the zone. The same thing, look, 80, so it's between 61.8 and 886. This is the zone that you actually highlight between 0.886 and 0.618. This is the zone that you actually highlight. And the market's going to retest this zone and continue up. I don't believe that it's going to go down. Why? Because the market is trending. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Trading is art. It's really an art. It's literally on the trend. So this is good. It's either about it can even drop down maybe. I believe it's in the golden zone. Okay. Now the goal is to when you're buying, you want to try and get in at the lowest point so you can catch the entire move. So now we're going to do something else called creating a position for this trade. So let's say we want to enter. Let's say you might want to play it safe. You might want to wait for it to go to 786. No problem. Okay? And you say, you know what? I want to enter right here at 786. I want to put my stop loss until the end of the golden zone. And my take profits, let's say I do a little bit more in the middle of that. And this is how people get the TP1, TP2, TP3. Okay? This would be TP1 right here, and TP2, and TP3. One second, it's a very bad drawing. TP1, TP2, and TP3. Easy. Yep. Quick 68 pips, just like that. Okay, this is not even including the rest of the move. This could literally go all the way up here. But the goal is, let's say let me draw this out for you so you can see it, right? So let's just say this is the trend. So see the market's doing this, right? Right? Let's go back to our chart. Let's look at it. The market's going up. It's taking a downtrend. But it's gone down now. It's retested this zone. Now our prediction is it's going to do what? Retest this zone in here, come back up to the upside. And what happened is when it takes out this high, right? It takes out this high. Hold on. Let me do this again. Okay. Let me do it a little bit higher. So, boom. There we go. Boom. When it comes here and it goes past this high, what a lot of people don't do, they don't move their stop loss. Let's just say this, right? So let's just say you base this trade and the market, and you press the buy here and it goes up. Move your stop loss up to this point. You've now secured all that profit. You take partials. So what I would recommend is when you're taking trades, if you're like, you should know, and of course from the education that we have, and we can guide you on this. But let's just say if you have £1,000 trading account, you should be placing 0.10 maximum per trade. So if you want to go in for a couple of positions, you can do 0.05 times 2, and that's equal 0.10. Or you could do 0.02, 0.02, 0.02 5 times, and it equals 0.10. Because trading that way, you break down the trade into several other smaller trades, and you can take out what they call partial profits. Partials. Don't be greedy. Okay? Bear wise. Don't be greedy. Take out the trade and then again, let this rise up to the upside and you make some money. Good. This is all bonus money, but you've already made majority. Put a 7 in the chat if that makes sense. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Don't just put 7. If it doesn't make sense, don't put a 7. If it makes sense, put a 7. Okay? I'll quickly touch on limit orders. I think someone asked about limit orders, right? Be very, very quick on the limit order. I'm actually going to show you guys on one of my other slides here. I do have some slides that you probably end this call off. It's not going to be too long of a call. Let me see if on the call. All right. So, um, last thing before we close off. Okay, perfect. So, let's see here. All right, perfect. So this is limit orders. Very quickly, I want to show you this diagram because it's kind of easier to explain that way. Okay, perfect. Put this one. Perfect. You guys can see my screen? Yeah. So this is basically limit orders, right? So this is basically how it works. So buy stop, you're basically purchasing, you're placing the price above where the current price is. This is the black price is the current price. The black line is the current price. A buy stop is you say, okay, I want to wait for the market to go up a little bit higher, okay? And then you're gonna buy. Make sense? You're gonna wait for the so I'll give you guys a live example. So this case right here, you could say, you know what, Derek, I want to wait until it gets this price here. I want to wait until it gets here, and then I'll buy. You could do a pending order, even for a sell. So you know what, I want to wait until the market goes a little bit further down, and then I place the sell. But in my eyes, I still do a pending order anyway because I'm waiting for it to go to a certain level. I'm not going to buy really until there's some retest. I want some more retest. I want it to drop a little bit more, and I'm gonna look at some buyers. And I'm sure Christian tomorrow, watch what he does tomorrow. Okay, I'm not a prophet, but I've, you know, I looking at this chart, looking at the movement of the markets, I can say this trend is juicy. This trend is juicy. Yes, there's a lot of movement within the trend. Of course, yeah, there's a whole back down trend here of like 100 pips. Yeah, I get that. But the overall trend is going up. So if you're looking at like a week, 2, 3 weeks from now, you will see this rise go up. If you're looking at scalping and short-term trading, of course, you can get in and get out and make money in the movements anyway. One thing about gold that gold does is why gold's my baby. Last thing before we close off. This is a buy. Gold does this all the time. I love when gold does this. This is the buy. Okay, boom. There's a big buy candle. I trade gold typically off the 1 hour candle. This candle happens and then boom, another candle comes. And typically what happens is gold does the opposite thing. Okay? Oh, I want that one. It does the opposite thing. See if I can find an example on this. So gold does this thing where look, it will literally return the favor. Look at this, yeah? So you can see, boom, up. Now, and again, a lot of currencies do the same thing, but I'm just, because I look at gold from, I've got a real eye for the markets, right? I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I can see another one, right? So gold will do a big sell and a big buy. So sometimes with Christian's strategy, which is incredible, he's like the GOAT. He says, get in on this candle, and he will see, especially if it's like this, where it's the resistance or it's literally at the bottom, the support level, we know it's not probably going to go past that support level. So we're going to buy at the low point, right? So that's my little 2 pence, guys, on the market for this week. Of course, I could have got so much deeper into it, but I want to accommodate the newbies too. But my prediction for gold this week is bullish. I'm looking at I'm looking at least 100 plus pips in the first couple of days here. Yeah, well, this is 72 pips. We're looking at about at least 75 pips. I believe movement. Probably not even that much. Probably looking at about 50 to start with, right? And then of course we're going to move forward from there. But I believe it's going to be a very, very fruitful week in the markets, guys. Stay close to the fire. Stay close to the academy. Of course, there'll be way more things I'll be teaching. Fibonacci, a lot of other stuff that will be taught on here. But Want to give you guys a little entry into this strategy, the golden zone. And I pray that you guys are blessed, have an incredible weekend, or have an incredible rest of the weekend. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Good night.